It's the off-season, and that means one thing: a countless amount of very questionable rankings of NBA players. As many of you may know and may have seen, ESPN released their annual NBA rankings list of the top 100 NBA players going into the 2022-2023 season. And I'm not gonna lie, it made me feel a type of way. So the question is, was ESPN right? No, not at all. In fact, they were so wrong over and over again throughout the list, and I'm gonna show you exactly where. Before I break down the list, you guys, make sure to like and subscribe. Let's start off with the people who didn't even make the list: Kyle Kuzma, Alex Caruso, Gary Trent Jr., Wendell Carter Jr., and Franz Wagner. Now this doesn't sound that egregious, but when you take into consideration there are two players that haven't even played an NBA game yet on this list, this is crazy. Bearing in mind that the ESPN panels say that they're predicting the best players for the 2022-2023 season, to say two rookies who have never even touched an NBA floor in Paolo Banchero and Keegan Murray are going to be better than good quality role players is crazy to me. Especially Franz Wagner, who had a really impressive rookie year last year and showed that he has a huge upside in the league. He also just showed that in Eurobasket a few weeks before the release of this list, as he was balling. So yeah, I see no way that any three of these rookies will be better than Franz Wagner by the end of next season. The next major flaw for me as you go down the list is Ben Simmons' placement at 76. Come on now. There is absolutely no way this isn't intentional, especially after his entire blow-up with the 76ers. I'm going to get onto the bias I think that surrounds this list later on, but this is an example of it. To think Ben Simmons, in a team surrounded by the best players he's ever played with in Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant, and the most spacing he's ever had, is only going to be the 76th best player in the league is absurd to me. Especially because he was an all-star and all-defensive player last time he played a full season healthy. Even if their reasoning is something along the lines that he may take a while to get back up to full speed, I don't think that's the case at all. All he does on the court is defend at an elite level and play makes at an elite level. I don't see that dropping off just because he had some time away from the sport. Moving down the list is something I can't even begin to explain, as they've ranked Vucevic over Robert Williams. Robert Williams should have been the Defensive Player of the Year last year, and he was one of the better centers in the league last season, compared to Vucevic, who had a huge drop-off, and damn near every Bull fan I've ever seen complained about him at some point of last year. I promise you, every single Bulls fan on the planet would trade Vooch for Robert Williams for next year in a heartbeat. Next up is the Zion placement. And it also just really confuses me. If it's a projection for next season, and we know he is healthy, why is he below Cade Cunningham, Scotty Barnes, Marcus Smart, and Klay Thompson? Like how? Zion was an all-NBA player, an unstoppable force last time he played. Two of the guys above him were rookies. One has never even sniffed an All-Star game, and the other one is recovering from an ACL tear and over 900 days away from the sport. This take worsened with time as well, because the recent NBA Media Day showed that Zion is going to be a force to be reckoned with next season. This next one might be the worst take I've seen all off-season. Tyrese Maxey over Darius Garland. DG was an all-star and easily a top 6 point guard in the league last year, and although Maxey is great upside, he was at most a spark plug for the 76ers. To be honest, the more I look at this list, it looks like there's a huge Eastern big city team bias throughout. Moving further down the list is Marcus Smart's placement at 33rd, above DG, DeJounte Murray, and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. I don't even know where to begin with this. Marcus Smart is a better defender than those three, and it ends there. All three of those point guards are more impactful in the game of basketball in every other facet. Jimmy at 17 is a disgrace, even if he thinks it isn't.
17th. Are there
Word? That's good.
Are there 16 players in the league that are more impactful than you?
Probably so. Probably about 25 of them. So I get in where I fit in. I'm not worried about it.
He's arguably the biggest playoff riser in the league and arguably the best performer in the playoffs just gone by. He genuinely was a shot away from the NBA Finals and maybe even a ring. You could even say if Tyler Herro wasn't injured, they could have easily gone to the finals. To put him only one spot ahead of Rudy Gobert at 18 is insanity to me. He hasn't been able to perform once in the playoffs his entire career. He has shown no improvement offensively in his game his entire career, and I doubt he will outperform half the players he's above next year in the playoffs either, if he even makes it. That's a video for another time though. As we begin to touch the top 10, Harden at 11 is baffling to me. He didn't look himself at all year, yet he was ranked above Trae Young, Anthony Davis, Jimmy Butler and Paul George. I don't think his actual position of 11th is that outrageous, as I think he will improve a lot this next season, but you have to keep that consistency because they also projected Kyrie Irving, a man who averaged 27, 6 and 4 on 46, 40, 90 shooting splits, as well as dropping 60 in a game last year, to only be the 33rd best player in the league. That's ludicrous. Not only that, Anthony Davis to be below players such as Bradley Beal doesn't even make any sense. Beal was not good last year when he played. He's older than AD and missed more games than AD last year. Moreover, not once in Beal's career has he ever been better than AD. Why would that change now? People are so quick to jump on bandwagons to hate on players. And the list only gets worse, because they put Devin Booker over Kawhi Leonard. Devin Booker just had one of the worst Game 7 performances in the history of the NBA. Compared to the last time we saw Kawhi, he led the Clippers to the Western Conference Finals before getting injured. I mean, Kawhi is literally Devin Booker with all defensive defense. It doesn't make sense how he's over him. Honestly, the more I look at this list, the more I just don't understand it. And now at the top of the list, Kevin Durant and LeBron James were not even in the top 5, which is literally insane. First of all, what more could have LeBron done to even be top 5 last year? He missed the playoffs, sure, but that had nothing to do with his performances. His best teammate missed 42 games and Westbrook played horrible all year. LeBron had a historic season, averaging 38 and 6, shooting 52% from the field. He was in the MVP race for a lot of the year. He even had 2 50-point games. No one else in history has ever been even close to doing any of that at the age of 37. It was truly an incredibly impressive season from him, and he is without a doubt still a top 5 player in the world. Even more so, KD was arguably the best player in basketball last season when he played. Yes, he had a bad series against the Celtics, but Devin Booker had an even worse one against the Mavs, and somehow he made the top 10. The only thing that they got right on this list was Giannis at 1. But I mean, that isn't particularly hard. He is so by far and away the best player in the league. If they didn't get that right, it would have been ridiculous. I think unfortunately, this is the harsh reality of sports media in general at the moment. The online world is dominated by the number of clicks you can get on your article, and the more outrageous they make these lists, the more clicks it will get. And hey, I'm part of the problem. The list was so bad it made me make this video, only giving them further attention. Gone are the days of genuine sports journalism on large sports broadcasting companies. There's a reason why guys like Stephen A. Smith, Skip Bayless and Shannon Sharp are paid huge salaries, because they are outrageous and they have hot takes and people want to click on their articles and watch their shows. This list is no different. It is a prime example of a big company using placements to generate media and talk around their article and content. and that is the harsh reality of sports now. If you liked the video, check the video I made last week on screen, and thank you for watching.